What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here. So, welcome to Mayhem Takes a Selfie. In this video, I want to talk about YouTube and what happens with the advertising, okay? Right now, there are a lot of videos out there because of something that happened today about the so-called YouTube copyright disaster, okay? To put it, this is the title from Angry Joe's show, okay? That's what he's calling it. The content copyright disaster. And so what is this? All right. Well, every time we post a video, okay, because we're partners with YouTube, we have the opportunity to actually monetize that video. All right. And by doing so, we get a tiny bit of the advertising revenue, and then YouTube gets the rest. Every time somebody clicks the skip button, nobody gets paid anything. All right. So let's say I was an unscrupulous person, okay? And I know, just from watching YouTube, that if I put a piece of pirated music on YouTube, that it'll get a million hits, okay? YouTube doesn't want to have people, make, hundreds of dollars by putting, pirated music all over their website, okay? So they have tried to install a content system to prevent that. So let's say, as a result, that I play a video game, okay? And in the background is the same pirated song. Now, it's okay because in the video game, that was paid for by the video game people. So that song is permitted to be there, all right? If I put up a video and that song is in the background, the content system from YouTube isn't smart enough to figure it out. So it will flag that video anyway. As a result, there have been a lot of people who have been having all kinds of content flagged. And I've been doing this YouTube channel since March of this year. I've been doing it from earlier than that, but I've been doing the video game stuff since March. And I can tell you that it, for the first 4 months, all the way up through July, it was like an ongoing battle with YouTube. But we weren't allowed to talk about it, okay? And it was constantly, I would put up a video and, it would suddenly, I couldn't monetize it. And the question was, well, why not, And you would just receive this automated response from the system that this video violates some sort of copyright, all right? And then, you'd have a little button that you could click on to say, wait a minute, something's wrong. And then a human would look at the ticket and they would say, okay, either this was a mistake by the computer or this actually is a copyright fraud problem, okay? Well, the people who work behind the scenes at YouTube, okay, on the other end of the system, they make like $8 an hour, all right? So they don't care about any of us. They don't want to argue at all, okay? The answer is just always, you're out of luck, all right? Unless you have millions of hits, in which case, you can have whatever you want, all right? Because YouTube is going to make their money. And I'm totally fine with that, okay? I am now. I mean, at first I wasn't. I was very grumpy and, I kept, they would send me, like the boilerplate that said, you can only do reviews and things like that. And I would write them back and be like, this is literally a review. It says review on it. It is a review. If you listen to the entire thing, it's a review. And then they'd write back and say, no, I'm sorry. And then they'd cancel. So it was like, like, how do you even defend against that? And the reason why is because back then I was only getting like, maybe 30 hits or 40 hits on a video. So they didn't care about me. Well, now that system has now extended to the big boys, okay? Angry Joe, Total Biscuit, like everyone who does gaming on YouTube is now subject to the same system. And the system hasn't been repaired. It hasn't changed at all. I have learned how to get around the system by making sure that I mute certain things and, like I cut out certain sections that I know are going to be a problem. And so I've learned how to kind of manipulate the system. Well, now they are way up in arms about this, which is fantastic, but I could have used them 10 months ago when I was getting screwed over, but they didn't want to hear about that back then because they were the big boys and YouTube wasn't doing anything to them, and now they're one of us. So this is an exciting time for me because I am very interested to see if people like Angry Joe can actually pull together their armies in order to get this system taken out of place. Because I can't tell you the number of games that I haven't been able to review, and I'll give you for instance, okay? Back in the day, they brought out the game for the new Star Trek movie, okay? And this game was horrific, okay? But because the Star Trek thing was attached to the Star Trek movie, technically, we weren't allowed to monetize that. But, you know, like, there was no way for me to actually do anything with that. So I just made up a little video where I just had my logo on the screen, and I was like, look, don't buy this game until you make sure that it's fixed. And that was the limit to what I was able to do. I also wasn't able to review Tomb Raider, which was a game that I played almost all the way through, and yet I didn't talk about that at all on my channel because, you know, there's no way to monetize it. There's no way. And you can keep doing videos for free, but if it takes 8 hours to do a video and you're getting paid $0, that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? So another good example is I had a video that I put out a little while ago, which was my first piece of non-gaming content. And I was all excited because I thought, there's no way that YouTube is going to have a problem with this because it's literally just a screen, and I'm talking about bachelor parties, okay? Well, actually, it was how to be a bachelor, and the whole thing was about, like, weddings and stuff like that. And I thought, there's no video games in this. There's no copyrighted material. I bought everything that was in it. I'm so jazzed, and it's going to be great, and blah, blah, blah. And they flagged it. They flagged it because the song that I bought, technically because I bought it, I had to prove to them that it was okay with the guy who wrote it that I use it. So they sent me a letter and they said, you know, you got to get the guy's written permission in order to get this done. And I was like, this guy lives, I actually did the research, and it turns out he lives in Russia, right? Well, I don't speak Russian, he doesn't speak English. And he sold it through a website that is now, you know, like it's an American website, but they don't know him. So I can't go to the website to get his permission either. So that was the end of that. That was the last time, you know, until I can actually get enough people where it doesn't matter to YouTube, or, you know, I can start writing my own music, which, you know, I have the actual ability to do, I just don't have the time to do, all right? When I get one of those two things, then we can start moving into some of that other stuff, but for right now, it's like, There's a limit to how much time we have, and you need to make the most, I mean, especially when you only have, like right now, I only have just under 3,000 people, and all of my time is just totally focused on getting more people, getting the people who I have to tell their friends, and, you know, like growing the channel. I don't have time to fight YouTube over, you know, this crazy copyright stuff that they're just worried about losing their money. And I understand that. But now that the big boys are involved, I'm very curious to see if that's going to change or what's going to happen. So anyway, this has just been a quick video to talk about the quote-unquote copyright disaster, which I find laughable because I've been over this for a couple months now, but now it's, you know, front page news for most of the big boys. And, you know, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please click the like button or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I'll see you next time.